Elden Ring DLC, end of the console wars, and also shredding the competition, all a part of episode 18. We're going to jump straight into it, guys. I hope you enjoy the episode. Let's get to the news. 2 years after Elden Ring released, a previously announced upcoming DLC finally received a reveal date of June 21st. Shadow of the Erdtree just got its first gameplay trailer last week, and since then, no wonder YouTube has been constantly serving me Elden Ring videos. Since the initial announcement trailer, interviews and speculation have been popping up everywhere, and thanks to the game's director, Miyazaki, he has answered many questions for us. We have learned that max level characters won't be able to breeze through the DLC due to it will use a separate leveling system borrowed from Sekiro, which, if you didn't know, is another From Software game. This system will have a Sekiro-like attack power stat unique to the DLC areas. The idea is to allow the player to replicate the freedom from the base game to explore and level up before tackling the bosses. There is said to be 10 or so new bosses, presumably many additional smaller ones, like dungeon bosses throughout the DLC, which is said to be bigger than Limgrave, the starting area of Elden Ring. This has disappointed people, however. To alleviate your heart, my dear viewer, we know from the past that Miyazaki usually downplayed certain things about past games to not create disappointment. It is very likely the area will be more expansive than Limgrave. Miyazaki also was quoted in saying that this is the largest expansion the company has ever worked on. The difficulty of the DLC is said to be on the same level of the end game of the base game, with some of the bosses being equal to Millennia in difficulty. Possibly we will need to kill bosses to gain attack power from them if it's anything like Sekiro. For now, it's all too early to tell. There will be 8 new weapon categories to be added. There will be plenty of new incantations and spells, also coming with more player moves, which are probably new arts, including Spinning Kick and the Crucible Night Wings, which look absolutely fantastic. The main antagonist from the DLC appears to be Mesmer, who takes up a sizable portion of the trailer and appears as a statue in the collector's edition. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light? I should be a voice actor, shouldn't I, guys? The entrance of the DLC is speculated to be from where players fought Mohg in the depths, as this is where you find a large egg, or cocoon, with the hand of Miquella sticking out of it. If this is indeed the case, then Mohg is not an easy fight, so if he is the gatekeeper, that players will have to surpass a good challenge up to this point and level. And why is it speculated? Because the story's narrative centers around Millennia's brother Miquella, son of the goddess Marika, so it would make the most sense. In regards to the story, George R.R. Martin, who assisted with the lore of the game, has not made any additional lore for the expansion. It is based on the original mythos, which did not fit the base game, but perfect for a different story. Hence this DLC or expansion. Miquella is a key figure to Elden Ring lore. Miquella is cursed to eternally have the body of a child and spent many years searching for ways to cure his and Millennia's curses under the beliefs of the Golden Order. With no success, he abandoned the Order and created the Erdtree in an attempt to rival the Erdtree. He then created a cocoon for himself within the Erdtree, but was kidnapped by his half-brother Mohg, Lord of Blood. Mohg wanted to awaken and ascend Miquella to true godhood and become his consort, but the tarnished player can kill Mohg before any of that is achieved, leaving Miquella in a sort of cocoon coma. Now in Shadow of the Erdtree, we know that Miquella has actually journeyed to the Land of Shadow, but for unknown reasons. And it's up to the player to trace Miquella's steps and journey through this new land too. And yes, to answer our most important question, Miyazaki has announced there will of course be a poisoned swamp. And as a bonus, try and figure out how many times I said Miquella instead of Miquella in this section. Hey guys, if I can ask for a favor, most of you who watch my YouTube channel are not yet subscribed or pressed the like button. Trust me, it will help me out more than you know, and I aim to earn it. So please hit the like button to help the YouTube algorithm to promote my videos into the future and to see more gaming content and yours truly. Thank you for your time and your support. Now, on with the episode. In the last couple of days or weeks, we've heard news from Microsoft that they will be releasing 4 of their exclusive games for cross-console play. At this time, only 2 out of the 4 games are coming to PlayStation and Nintendo, which are Grounded and Pentiment. Which titles will be the remaining 2 games are known right now, but rumoured to be Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. We have also heard news that PlayStation currently has no PS exclusive games in the works until April 2025 after recently releasing several of its exclusive titles over the last year, such as Uncharted, God of War, Spider-Man to other platforms. This has gamers questioning if the console wars are over and if cross-console games will be the new industry standard. And this is our answer for you. Nope.
Nope. Next!
While these releases to other platforms are great news for gamers, this is less about the end of exclusivity and more the reality of the lingering echo effect of the pandemic delays on production and how larger companies are waiting out the slow or bad times until things level out. Phil Spencer, the Microsoft gaming CEO, in a recent podcast on Thursday, February 15th, 2024, said that the 4 titles coming to PlayStation and Nintendo do not signify a fundamental change in the firm's game strategy. So essentially, don't hold your breath and build up any false hope. But he was also quoted saying, "I have a fundamental belief that in the next 5 to 10 years, exclusive games, which are exclusive to one piece of hardware, are going to be smaller and smaller part of the games industry. So while we can dream of a world of playing whatever new game just hit the market on whatever platform we prefer, it is still just a pipe dream for now." Likely the reality of what we should expect to see are fewer and fewer long-term exclusives like Phil Spencer has mentioned. Too many exclusively held titles in the not too distant future will no longer be good for business like it was in the past. In a world where mobile gaming, subscription service gaming, and other new gaming formats continue to reshape and shift the paradigm of the gaming industry, what we are probably in for is term limit exclusive agreements rather than total exclusive agreements, much like we have already seen with the likes of Final Fantasy VII Remake and Horizon Zero Dawn, where the games are released to select platforms for 6 to 12 months before being released to others, as this is likely how companies like Microsoft, PlayStation, and Nintendo will continue to have their cake and eat it too, as the industry's triumvirate leaders ruling over us plebs. Released on February 26, 2024, Skull and Bones is an action-adventure game that put players at the helm of their own 17th century ship in the height of the piracy wars off the coast of Southeast Asia and Eastern Africa. The game was supposed to have taken influence from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, naval battles with Skull and Bones, focusing heavily on the naval battles for storyline and narrative with only minimal gameplay occurring elsewhere. Skull and Bones was both highly anticipated and highly criticized before its release on the 16th, so let's take a look at how it's doing. Oh dear, that's not good. What happened? With major complaints of technical issues making the game unplayable to the game's $70 USD price tag, Skull and Bones has yet to clear the 1 million registered players, with roughly over 850,000 players at the time of writing. Now you may say, 850,000 players is still a lot of people, and you're right. However, I have been deliberately withholding information until now to make you look foolish, and you, dear viewer, have fallen right into my trap! Yes, that was very fiendish of me, wasn't it? Because these 850,000 players already registered to the game include everyone that registered whilst playing the free 8-hour access pass, and Ubisoft is currently not telling us how many of these players actually bought the game after the trial. And as we've mentioned before, this game costs 70 USD, a price point which has been defended by Ubisoft CEO suggesting Skull and Bones is a quadruple A game. While other employees at Ubisoft have been quoted to saying to Insider Gaming, we all know this is about a 30 to 40 game at best. Additional reported issues mentioned included incomplete download errors on PS5, failure to launch errors on PC, issues joining or staying in multiplayer without being booted before the end of the round, as well as a buttload of run stop errors and game crashes happening at random. Currently, Skull and Bones has mostly negative reviews from gamers and critics, alike with a Metascore of 60 and user score of 3.6. Yeah, that's not really good, is it? Ubisoft better bring out the buckets and start bailing the water before Skull and Bones, well, sinks. And fast if they intend to recover this wreck from launch. We don't have shareholders, but we also don't think about them, said David Walgrave at the 27th Annual DICE Awards as he spoke on behalf of Larian Studios' production team whilst accepting the award for Game of the Year. David did a thing of beauty with his platform and time by mentioning that since Larian doesn't tend to view the fans as just shameless source of income like other studios and prefers to avoid things like microtransactions and other add-ons to keep making money off people that already bought and own the game, we ask you to pay one price for the game and that's it. You own it for the rest of your life, was something else David stated that really resonated with members of the audience and viewers like myself at home. While I am okay with the idea of expansion packs having to be purchased further down the road when there is a demand for it, David's comments really made me reflect on how many times I've purchased a DLC for upwards of half the base cost of the game's original retail price to be utterly disappointed. Like Pokemon Violet, for example. Thinking back on gaming over the years since I was but a wee lad and how the marketing of things has changed from releasing something after the game came out for the game that wasn't done. Eventually, MMOs added expansion packs to the base game with fairly large additional content after or aside the base game narrative happened, occasionally if the game and player base demanded more. Now we have studios breaking up what should be the base game into a base game and 2+ DLCs just to get the full narrative and storyline. Well, it's pretty standard, isn't it? And that just ain't right to my aging millennial mindset. Oh! And don't get me started on the not actually owning something if you've bought it argument. But I digress. For now. Okay? So bravo David Walgrave, and thank you from a huge fan of both Baldur's Gate 3 and now you for saying what we all were frickin' thinking of in the first place. Originally released in 2013 by Starbreeze Studio, this remake of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons adds co-op, allowing 2 players to control each brother. Along with graphics overhaul as expected from a remake, 2 brothers set out on an adventure to find a cure to save their father from a grave illness. The older brother is stronger, allowing him to pull levers or boost his brother up to higher ledges, whereas the older brother can fit in tighter spaces. Manipulating the brothers at the same time allows the player to complete various puzzles by using both brothers' strengths. O brother, wherefore art thou? Releases on PC and all consoles, bar the Switch, February 28th. Cook Serve Delicious is a restaurant simulation video game released in 2012, developed and published by Vertigo Gaming. It is now coming to both Xbox and PS5 as a remaster. The player controls the menu and running of a restaurant, with in-game currency being awarded by correctly filling customers' orders. The remastered version, besides featuring improved graphics, will include additional story elements to tie in with the sequels to the series, 10 new recipes, and additional side quests. What's cooking, good looking? Coming to Xbox and PS5, February 28th. Originally released in the 90s, Star Wars Dark Forces is remastered by Night Dive Studios and take on the task bringing it to modern audiences, the masters of remasters. With the Empire creating a doomsday army, the Rebel Alliance must infiltrate the Empire and put an end to their plans. The game comes with 14 levels, 20 enemy types and 10 weapons with 4K visuals up to 120 FPS visuals. From fisting enemies, yes, I said it, or using landmines to blasters to immersive environmental puzzles and mazes. Everything has been built from the ground up to relive a game made 30 years ago. Join the dark side. We got cookies. Releases February 28th to PC and all consoles. Continuing on from the Final Fantasy VII remake in 2020 by Square Enix, Rebirth carries directly on from the aftermath of Midgard, starting in the town of Calm, where anything is but calm. The second part of the three-part overall remake and reimagining of Final Fantasy VII is due to end at the Temple of the Ancients, which is the end of the first disc of the original, taking control of Cloud, Barret, Tifa, Aerith, Red, and adding in Yuffie and Kate Sith into the playable roster, and even Sephiroth, Sephiroth, Like the remake, the gameplay combines real-time action with strategic role-playing elements by using regular attacks to build up ATB charges to use abilities. All new in Rebirth are synergy skills which allow characters to combine and attack together. Well, technically they were implemented in Intergrade, but we're just going to ignore that for now. The overworld is yours to explore in an open-ended format with different colored chocobos allowing various feats to help you travel. And guys, you can catch me for the next dozen streams or so playing this game, so come on, check me out over on Twitch, the J Cottz. Are you prepared for the fantasy that is never final? Coming out on February 29th. Yes, it's a leap year, guys, to PlayStation 5. Quadruple A game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and also some more information about exclusivities, and of course a little bit of Elden Ring lore added in for a little bit of pizzazz. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, and of course those scathing comments from Larian as well, poking those people where they belong, those other developers who try to nickel and dime us every step of the way. I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys, and see you very soon. Schlancha.